For this class, please begin laying down in the center of your mat. If you find that you've gotten a little bit stiff, a little bit too still, then take a few moments to maybe shake it off a little bit. Maybe wiggle through your arms or shoulders. Take a little check in with your jaw and your forehead. And then allow yourself to settle in, find some more quiet. Allow your eye gaze to soften. And your eyelids just get a little bit softer. And if you'd like, allow your eyelids to completely shut. And start to send some awareness into your breath. Some awareness into your body. Notice the quality of your breath and see if you can grow your breath a little bit larger on your inhales and feeling your body expand on all sides, and then on your exhales, slowly contracting. Notice the peaks and valleys of your breath. Simply notice that transition, that's all. Don't need to hold on to it. And I'd like to invite you to set a dedication for your practice today. And in that same idea of not holding on, the thing I've been working with lately is let go or be dragged. If it resonates with you, please adopt that as your dedication for this sequence, for this class. If it doesn't, then find something else that works for you. Even if it's simply not to hold on to your breath and allow the flow to continue. Recognizing when it happens, when you're thinking about it, and even when you're not. We're going to take a few breaths together to solidify this dedication together as community. Take a really deep breath in, fill up all the way. Notice the very peak of your breath. Notice this fullness, and then on an exhale, let it go. Feel the bottom, the valley of that breath. And then again, take a really deep breath in. Find softness as you do so. Exhale, let go. And then one final time on your own as you are ready. And then start to invite some more movement into your body through your toes and your wrists, maybe rocking your head from side to side, just gently waking up your body once again as we enter the more active part of your practice physically. And then we're going to start on our backs with an asymmetrical movement. So flex your right foot so much that your heel might come up away from the mat. Inhale, lift your left arm up above you, back palm might touch the back of the mat. On an exhale, release the activity of the right foot, take your left arm down. The left foot flexes, reach your right arm up and back. On an exhale, bring it back to where you began alongside your body. Again, once either side. Inhale, flex right foot, left arm comes up and back. Press your low back into the mat. Exhale, bring it right back, release. Flex left foot, right arm up and back. Deep breath. Exhale, take it all the way back down. Bend both knees, place your feet into the mat like you're setting up for a bridge, and we're going to take a similar movement, a little bit of a flow here. So press your feet into the mat, inhale, lift your hips, reach your arms up and back, backs of palms, press the mat, reach your tailbone back towards the backs of your knees rather. Exhale, drop your hips down, bring your arms back down. Again, inhale, lift up your hips, tailbone reaching for backs of knees for more extension, backs of hands behind you. Exhale, release it all the way back down. Hips and hands, same time. Twice more, your own breath. After that second exhale, your arms and your hips have come down. Gently pull your knees to your chest, rock a little from side to side. And just notice a little bit of a squeeze, a stretch through your hip flexors. Just find a little bit of organic movement. And we're going to move to a boat pose. So you can simply roll to one side and sit up, or hands to the backs of thighs, rock up and down the length of your spine until you land in a boat position. Maybe you land, maybe you need a little bit more help. Okay, once you're there, you can stay right here, hands to backs of thighs, Bring arms out in front of you, or if you'd like to move with me, we're going to go to a low to high boat extension. If you're doing that, inhale, lower, keep your shoulders and your heels lifted, look towards your toes. Exhale, pull in, knees in real tight. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, extend, look to feet. Exhale, pull in, twice more. And then release all the way onto the mat once again. Reach your arms up above your head, keeping your torso where it is. Wiggle your legs over to the right and your arms over to the right. Maybe take right hand to left wrist, banana asana, so you've got a seated crescent pose. Maybe cross left ankle over right. Keep your left shoulder drawing to the mat. So as you find your deep breaths, you might find a little bit more stretch to the left side of your rib cage. On your next exhale, wiggle your legs and your arms over to the left. Your torso stays generally in the same spot. And for a little bit more intensification, left fingertips to right wrist, right ankle over left. Several breaths here. Even in this pose, try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. And then wiggle it back to center. Bend both knees into the mat once again. This is where we're going to do kind of a version of extended hand-to-toe pose. So if you've got a strap, use your strap. You have also an option to take your two peace fingers around your big toe and extend your right leg up to the sky. If that doesn't feel comfortable, like your hip rises up, simply take your hands to the backs of your thigh. If you would like, you can release the leg out in front of you. So any of these options is fine. Generally though, right foot is facing upward, bent knee is fine, and left leg is in front of you, whether it's bent or reclined. Regardless of what's happening in your right leg, whether your leg is bent or straight, flex through your foot, press your heel up toward the ceiling, and press your right hip down. Use your hands or your strap to gently draw your thigh in close to you. See if you can find some relaxation through the left side of your body, your left leg. Just breathe. Three more breaths. Find your movement on your exhale. And then on your next exhale, release the strap or the tension, and then simply release your right foot down, extend it out in front of you if you've got straight legs, or keep your knee bent. Your left knee comes into your chest. Again, peace fingers to big toe, extend left leg up, strap around the base of all your foot, or hands to clasp behind your thigh. Press your left heel up toward the ceiling, toes reach down toward you with the bent or the straight leg. Right leg releases, even if it's bent, and then start to slowly draw your thigh towards your chest. Note that sometimes if you have a bent knee, this might actually accentuate a certain kind of stretch in your hamstring. So maybe play with what is best for you right now. 3 more breaths. All right, after that third exhale, release. This time, bend both knees into the mat. We're going to take a supine twist. Simply drop knees over to the right, and then adjust your shoulders with your elbows as much as you need, so you can start to send your gaze either straight up toward the ceiling, or start to send it over to the left. If you want a little bit more stretch, right hand to the outside of left thigh, just a gentle press down. Head and knees back to center, and then drop both knees over to the left. Adjust shoulders as you need, and then if it's comfortable on your neck, send your gaze over to the right. On this side, perhaps left hand on top of right thigh, just for a gentle pressure. And then take your knees back up to center as well as your head. You're going to come to a seated position, either rocking up and down the length of your spine, or rolling over onto one side and coming over. Come onto your hands and knees. We're going to take a couple cat and cow poses. So make sure you've got straight line from knees to hips, wrists to shoulders. Inhale, drop belly, lift up hips and heart, gaze up. On your exhale, press your hands and knees, arch your spine, look back down towards your knees or even your belly, really press away. Inhale, sweep your heart forward for a cow. Exhale, press up to cat. One more just like this, your own breath. And then come back to that neutral spine. We're going to take a bind here perhaps, or you can take a more active range of motion. If you like using a strap, then maybe this is for you, and I'll explain. Left arm comes out, thumb is up. Right here, this is some core strength. Option to lift your right leg out and back. Make sure even your pinky toe is pointing down. If you find your belly is dropping, zip it up. So feel your hip tips pulling towards your rib tips. This activates your core. Option to simply stay right here in this balanced pose. Another option is to bend your right knee, reach your left arm up and back. You can either reach for and not clasp, or not use a strap. This is really active range of motion. Or hand to foot, or use a strap to go around your foot. A more passive range of motion, a different kind of a stretch. So consider why you stepped on your mat. Was this for strength? Was this for expansion? Just breathe. Also possible to choose one and then change your mind. If you've taken any one of those binds or variation on an exhale, you're going to drop your right knee, drop your left hand. One round of cow and cat. Start with your cow with belly down. Stretch through your collarbones. Exhale, press up your cat. And then back down to neutral spine. We'll take the other side. Again, either this is a balanced pose or it's a balance and more activity. Right arm out, thumb up. Shrug your shoulder in. Left leg out, toes down, belly in. Stay here for this balance, or bend the back knee. Reach your right arm up and back, thumb up still. Actively reaching, or perhaps find that bind. If you have a bind, foot presses into hand, hand presses into foot. Continue to push away from the mat with everything that is touching the mat. If you've taken bind, if you've taken the active range of motion, release. Everyone take right hand down, knee down. One round of cow and cat. Inhale, drop belly, lift up hips and heart, gaze up. Exhale, press to your cat pose. And we're going to take a flow of a cow and cat. So keeping your shins parallel, shift your hips back towards your heels, modify child's pose. On an inhale, rise to your knees, palms lift up. Slight back bend, keep your tailbone reaching down towards the backs of your knees for more hip extension. Exhale, bow. Back to a modified child's pose. Inhale, keep your heart low, come to a cow pose, hips and heart up. Exhale, press through cat, shift your hips back to your heels. Again, rise to knees. Slight back bend, drop your tailbone for extension across your hips. Exhale, bow. Inhale, slither forward, belly down. Exhale, press up through cat. Shift your hips back to your heels once more. Inhale to lift. Exhale, modified child's. Inhale, belly is low for cow. Exhale, press up through cat. This time, toes together, knees a little bit wider. Come to a child's pose. If child's pose is uncomfortable for you, or you prefer knees together, take an option that feels restful. We'll be here for several breaths. Check in, what is it that you can let go of? And then when you're ready, press up to your hands and knees, realign your knees with your hips. Tuck your toes, send your hips back, and then lift up to downward facing dog. Give yourself several breaths here. First down dog of this class, perhaps of your day. So if you need a little bit of movement, please take it. Bend your knees generously, look towards the top of your mat, and then step your way to the top of the mat. We're first gonna start with a ragdoll pose. Bent knees, allow your belly to rest. Maybe take your elbows and hands, sway from side to side. Bob your head. Find some looseness, maybe even shrug your shoulders. And then release your fingertips down. On an inhale, come up halfway. Fingertips to shins, look forward, belly is in. Exhale, chest to thighs, make this very active. And then on an inhale, reverse swan dive. Come up all the way to standing, reach your arms out and up. Baby palms press above you. Exhale, hands to your heart center. And then arms alongside your body, Tadasana posture, mountain pose. Find this mountain pose, press down through your feet. Lift up through the crown of your head. Activity through your fingertips. Softness through your face. We're going to take a sun salutation V. So take your toes together, heels slightly apart. This keeps your heels aligned basically with your second toe. Sit your hips low. Inhale, chair pose, arms lift. Exhale, fold, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, fold, step back to the top of a plank pose, Palakasana. Knees up or down. On an exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Elbows graze your rib cage. Untuck toes. Inhale for a back bend. Elbows reach back. Exhale, fold. Either through hands and knees or through chaturanga. Come back to downward facing dog. Find your breath. Find your downward facing dog. When you're ready, on an inhale, right leg comes forward between your hands. Left foot comes down angled at a 45 degree and then lift all the way up for a warrior one. So make sure that your hands are facing, your palms are facing toward each other. If that means a wider stance, that's fine. Notice how much your rib cage is jutting out and see if you can bring it in. You might feel a deeper stretch across the left side of your hip flexors. Right hip gently pulls back, maybe sit lower. Keep pressing through the outer edge of your left foot. Find the deep breath. How does it change in this posture? On your next exhale, take your hands down to the mat, pivot to the ball of your back foot, step right foot back to meet left. Option to take that vinyasa, knees up or knees down, and come back to downward facing dog. Release your shoulders away from your ears, fingertips spread wide. And when you're ready, on an inhale, left leg comes forward. Foot next to left thumb, angle right foot down 45 degrees. Left hip pulls back. When you're ready, rise up for your first warrior one of this side. Shoulders release down, pinkies toward each other. Again, start to draw your hips in, your ribs in, and then your hips forward, right forward, left slightly back. Press to the outer edge of your right foot to lift up the arch. Draw your shoulders away from you. Maybe sit slightly deeper into the front knee. Find the softness where it exists. And then on an exhale, touch down, pivot onto the ball of your back foot, step your left foot back to meet your right. Make your way to downward facing dog through a vinyasa or not. We'll be here for just a couple breaths. Maintain your exhales. Find the equality in the inhale and exhale. Then bend your knees, look toward the top of your mat. Step or hop to the top, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Toes together, just slightly apart. Utkatasana, chair pose, arms lift. Exhale, come to standing, hands into heart, arms alongside your body. Breathe in your Tadasana posture. Then we're simply going to flow back to downward facing dog through a half sun salutation A. Feel free to move on your own, I'll also guide you. Inhale, arms lift up, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, release. Breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, step back to top of your plank pose. On an exhale, lower to or toward the mat, elbows in toward each other. Untuck toes for a back bend, reach your heart forward, gaze only slightly up. Then on an exhale, lift up your hips, rock it back to downward facing dog, and breathe. On your next inhale, right leg comes up and back, long, straight, strong. On an exhale, pull your knee to your nose, then place your foot between hands toward right thumb. Use your hand to guide it up so you've got knee over ankle. Angle your left foot down, so we're coming more to a warrior two legs. Press through your feet and then unravel your body into warrior two. Feel free to come out of the pose in order to enter it. Shrug your shoulders down. Make sure your shoulders are square to the long side of your mat. And you're not super cranking out this way. It's okay if your hips aren't square. Look out beyond your right middle finger. And just here as well, can you pull your floating ribs in and maybe sit a little more deeply? Flip your right palm up. Exalted warrior, we're gonna stay here for a couple of reps, maintaining the deep bend. Reach your right arm up, deep stretch to the right side of your body, shoulders away from you, left hand to thigh or to your low back. See if you can still have shoulders squared toward the long side of your mat. And then come back to the warrior two. We're going to take a side angle pose. So serve towards the front of the room as far as you can go, and then take forearm to flat. If you know that you want to take your hand down to the mat or to a block, please do so. Left fingertips up toward the ceiling. If your hand is on the thigh, make sure, or your forearm rather, make sure your hand is active. So wrap your right rib cage upward. Gaze up toward left thumb if that's comfortable. Just like we did in warrior one, you've got an arch through your left foot. So pressing to the outer edge is going to give you lots of stability. Simply breathe. Then look down towards your right foot. You're going to take your hands to either side of front foot, pivot onto the ball of your back leg, so you're in a low lunge. Drop your left knee. Inhale, arms come up for an Anjaneyasana pose. Shoulders release back. Allow your hips to come forward. So your back foot is either tucked or untucked with your toes. Just make sure you're making a firm connection here. So even here, right hip is pulling back, left is forward. You might find a deeper stretch through your left hip flexor. Simply breathe. When you're ready, on an exhale, hands tap down, tuck your back toes, lift up your back knee, step back to top of plank pose, and then move to downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, left leg up and back, find that long line. On an exhale, bring your knee to your nose so you can place your foot between your hands towards your left thumb. Angle your right foot down like warrior two, so the back of your foot is almost parallel to the mat. Left hip pulls back, press through feet, and then unravel. Come out of the pose if you need so that you can enter it. Again, left toes facing straight ahead, knee in line with second toe. Shoulders are more square to the long side of your mat. Don't worry so much about your hips, they're going to move. Shrug, shoulders down. Gaze out beyond middle finger. Get low. Find your strength that you can move either direction. Warrior two. Left palm flips up, exalted warrior. Right hand drops or comes to your low back. Keep reaching your left knee a little bit more out to the left as you arc back. Deep stretch to the left side. Again, can your shoulders stay fairly square to the long side of your mat? And then back to warrior two. Side angle pose. Reach, reach, reach toward the front. And then forearm to thigh, or maybe hand down to block or all the way to the mat. Right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Keep scooching your left hip underneath you. This will give you lots of support. Press through the outer edge of your right foot. Is your right shoulder cranking toward your ear? Release it. Lift up through your fingertips. Activity through the left. Find breath. Grow through the crown of your head. Exhale, slightly twist to bring left rib cage up. Then look down towards left foot. Take hands down, pivot onto the ball of your back foot. You're in a low lunge. Drop your right knee, and then Anjaneyasana as you're ready. Your arms lift up. If that's not comfy, you can always take your hands to your thigh. Again, back toes tucked or untucked. What is working best for you? Squeeze your left heel towards your right knee. Sink your hips down. It's fine to have a back bend here. Just make sure that you're still pulling in through your ribs, even if you're taking that extra stretch. Next, exhale, plant hands to either side of front foot. Tuck back toes, lift up back knee. Step left foot back to meet right, high plank. Take your path back to downward facing dog. Three more breaths in downward facing dog. Wrap your shoulder blades around, away from each other. And then on your third exhale, knees to mat, hips to heels, your child's pose. And if coming forward in child's pose is not comfortable, perhaps consider sitting on your knees or another posture that feels restful. We're going to be here for several breaths. We're going to take that same sequence and we're going to add on to it. So if you ever feel like you'd like to move ahead or behind, please do so. We're going to be in this restful posture, your choice, for the next 5 breaths. We'll meet in downward facing dog after that. The first of your 5 breaths begins now. You might be nearing the end of your 5th exhale. So begin your path back to downward facing dog. If you're in the middle of something, make your way when you're ready. Strengthening breath in, cleansing breath out. On your inhale, right leg lifts up and back, create space. On an exhale, use the space you've made. Place your foot between your hands towards right thumb. Left foot comes down at an angle. When you're ready, unravel. Warrior 2. Tailbone is starting to drop. Reach your right knee out toward the right, shoulders back. Gaze beyond the right middle finger. Even left shoulder drops. Right palm comes up, exalted warrior. Keep your hips low. Keep your shoulders squared toward the long side of your mat. And then side angle pose. Right forearm on top of thigh. Left hand up toward the ceiling. If you'd like to move to a more extended version, bring your left arm out in front of you. Pinky down. And then sweep it around toward the front so that your forearm is over your ear. Keep that long, long leg from fingertips to toes on the left side of your body. Your right rib cage is still slowly rotating upward. Even here, reach your tailbone toward the back of your heel for more hip extension. Then look down towards your front foot. Cycle all the way down so that your hands come down. Put it onto the ball of your back knee. Left knee comes down. Inhale, Anjayanasana. Hips drop, arms are lifted. Then take your right hand to your right hip crease. So your thumb is right here. Just to gently guide it over to the right so you're not kind of like cheating forward. And then arc over to the right with your left hand. Take a really deep breath in here. And then on your exhale, empty out all the air. Continue that cycle. Your left elbow might come all the way to the outside of your left thigh. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist even here. Your right hand can stay at your right hip or press your palms together. You might even have enough pressure here. Shoulder blades are releasing back and your thumbs come toward the center of your sternum. Tuck your back toes. Lift up your back knee. Look towards your right toes and then step your left foot forward, maybe one step or maybe several. You come to a revolved chair pose. Inhale, come back to regular Utkatasana toward the front. Exhale, fold, release. Let it go. Ragdoll pose. Separate your feet about 2 fist distance. Let it go. Sway from side to side if that feels right. Then come back to stillness. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press through your feet. Root to rise. Reach your arms out and up. Palms press above you. Exhale, hands to heart. And then arms alongside your body. Keeping your legs as they are. Inhale, arms come up. Wrap your right thumb on the outside. Your palms are together. Shoulder blades are down. Bump your hips to the left. Arc over to the right. Try to make sure that you're not jutting out. Find one plane. Right shoulder is dropping ever so slightly. Inhale, come back to center. Switch out the cross of your thumbs. Hips to right, lean over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands to heart. If you'd like, arms alongside your body. We'll be here for several breaths. We're going to flow back to downward facing dog. Feel free to move on your own or follow the sound of my voice. Inhale, arms lift up, upward prayer. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at your hips, bent knees or find release. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart. Exhale, fold to honor yourself. Come back to the top of a plank pose. On an exhale, lower all the way toward or just to your mat. Elbows graze your ribcage, untuck toes. Inhale for your back bend. Elbows reach back, heart reaches forward. Exhale, release out of that. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Left leg lifts up and back. Exhale, place split between your hands toward your left thumb. Angle your right foot down for warrior 2. Find your strength, and then on an exhale, unravel warrior 2. Come out of the pose as much as you need so that you can enter it. Find the lift at the inside of your right arch of your foot. Shoulders square toward the long side of your yoga mat. Shoulders reaching away from your ears. Blur everything out beyond your left middle finger. Left palm flips up, exalted warrior. Maintain that deep bend. Maybe even feel a little bit more like your left knee is moving out toward the left. You can even take a peek and check it out. And then extended side angle. Come back up to your warrior 2, serve forward. Left forearm onto left thigh. Or you can take your hand all the way down to block. Right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Or if you'd like to take the more extended version. First, take your arm parallel with the ground. Angle your right pinky down and then sweep your arm toward the front of your yoga mat. And then find all of your length here. You're still knitting in your ribs, rotating the left rib cage up, right shoulder away from your ear, even as your right fingertips reach away from you. Also, don't forget that your left hand has things to do here as well. On an exhale, when you're ready, look down towards the front foot, let your hands come down, pivot onto the ball of the back foot for a little lunge. Drop your right knee down, Anjayanasana as you're ready. Shift your perspective, arms lift up or hands can stay at your thigh. Left hand to left hip crease to remind yourself to guide your left hip back. And then arm over to the left. Leading with your right fingertips, but your right shoulder is still reaching away from your ear. Deep breath in here, take up space. Exhale, release that. And then as you're exhaling, use the space you've created. Right elbow might come all the way to the outside of your left thigh. Maybe hand comes here. Left hand can remain at your hip or press palms together. You inhale, lengthen. You exhale, find your twist. Your left hip is still pulling back. Be gentle. And then let's make it really fun. Tuck your back toes to lift up your back knee. You're in a revolved prayer twist. Look down towards your left toes. Find a little momentum. Your right foot is going to come up. Your toes will meet. Yes, revolved chair. Just here for a couple breaths, nothing lasts forever. Find the safety in that. Inhale, come back to chair pose. Utkatasana, traditional. Exhale, release, forward fold. Separate your feet. Ragdoll. Shake it out, let it go. Then make sure that your feet are below your hips. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Press through your feet, reach your arms out and up. And on an exhale, take your hands to your heart center. Arms alongside your body. Keeping your feet planted as they are, arms reach out and up. Palms maybe to press, and if they do, cross your left thumb over your right. Bump your hips to the right, arc over to the left. Find the activity through your core. Inhale, come back to center, switch out the cross of your thumbs if your hands are pressing. Left hips out to the left, arc over to the right with your torso. And then come back to center. Exhale, hands to heart. Option to keep them here, to bring your arms alongside your body, allow your eyelids to close, or simply allow your eye gaze to lose focus. Hold less. Just check in. The reason you stepped on your mat, the dedication you may have set for yourself or offered. If you have your hands at your chest, you might notice the feeling of your heart beating. And regardless of your hand position, start to recognize your breath, what's happening. And we're going to flow back to downward facing dog. Again, it is your choice if you'd like to move to the rhythm of your own breath. I'll also provide guidance. On an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart, fingertips press against something. Exhale, fold. Come back to the top of a plank pose. On an exhale, lower to or towards your mat, chaturanga, or all the way down. Untuck toes for a back bend. If you're taking up dog, only hands and tops of feet to mat. And on an exhale, lift your hips up. Shift back to downward facing dog. Make sure you have at least 2 breaths in your downward facing dog. And at the end of your second exhale, take a restful pose, whether it is child's pose or something else. We're going to take the sequence once more, add on some other poses to it. It'll be slightly different. If you ever feel like you'd like to move ahead of what I'm saying, please do so. This is your practice. Before we take this third round, this third wave of this sequence, you're going to have 7 breaths to yourself. You can do whatever you like during this time, whether it's to rest, drink water, work on another posture, do whatever you got to do. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Your first of 7 breaths begins now. About now, you might be coming upon your 7th exhale. If you need a little bit more time, take it. Otherwise, please begin your transition to your downward facing dog. Let's take a breath together, deep breath in, strengthening. Cleanse it out, let go. On an inhale, right leg extends up and back. Find that length on an exhale. Place your foot between your hands toward right thumb. Angle left foot down. As you're ready, warrior 2. Find your posture. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Exalted warrior, right palm flips up. Drop your left. Arc up and back. Maintain the deep bend. Keep your right knee moving out so that your knee is over second toe. 2 more breaths. Come back to warrior 2 for your side angle or extended. Reach forward, take all the length you can. Forearm to thigh, your hand all the way down. Left fingertips up or reach over the top of your head. Keep finding all the length you can. 3 breaths. At the end of your third exhale, look down towards right foot. Take your hands down toward the mat, put it onto the ball of your left. Drop your left knee down as you're ready. Your Anjaneyasana, arms lifted or hands staying at your thigh. 3 breaths. Right hand to right hip crease, arc over to the right, keep your right hip gently guided back. And then on an exhale, continue that cycle. Left elbow to the outside of left thigh or hand to left thigh. Start to rotate, find that revolved position. Maybe right hand presses into left. And then tuck your back toes to lift up your back knee. We won't be here for long in this revolved prayer lunge. Look down towards your right toes. Make the journey to place your left toes next to your right, heel slightly apart. You're in a revolved chair. Inhale, come all the way up for a Utkatasana. Exhale, fold, release. Find a little bit of movement, get soft. What speaks best to your dedication today? And then when you're ready, inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Press through your feet, reach out and up. This time, keep your hands lifted. Keep your toes together if you would like. Bump hips to left, arc over to the right, standing crescent. On an exhale, come up to center, cross out your thumbs, and then right hips to the right, lean over to the left. Come back up to center, and then exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to take a Vrikshasana tree pose. So shift the weight to your left foot, come up onto the ball of your right, and then move your right knee over to the side. And now it's time to choose the pose. So your foot comes in, comes up, maybe all the way up. And maybe you'd like to use your hands to assist a little bit of passive range of motion for your tree pose. Make sure that you're still finding enough strength through your core to provide you with this stability. Press down through your left foot, shoulder blades are back. If and when you would like, take a different arm variation. Your arms could be up, maybe hands wider than your shoulders. Just 2 more breaths, and then follow my voice. Bring your hands back to your heart if you took one of those variations. Regardless of what you've done with your right leg, bring your right knee to the front. I'm going to move to a warrior 3 pose. So if you've got a block, you might want to adjust so you've got it close by. A little bend to your left knee, extend your right leg behind you, start to tilt forward. Make sure your right toes are pointed down. Even here, pull it up. So you're pulling your ribs towards your hips, engaging your core. If you'd like to use a block, take your hands down to your block here. This will also help your right shoulder be in line with your left. If you would like to take a different hand variation other than hands at heart like we just had, please do that. 2 more breaths. That is all. Keep your left hip lifted. And then take your hands down to the mat or to your block. We're going to take a standing splits pose. I know, things just keep happening. On an inhale, lift up halfway. So it's kind of like a supported warrior 3. Again, a block here, spine. And then on an exhale, start to bring your chest closer to your thigh. Your right leg might lift. Shoulders away from ears, simply breathe. You have a choice to stay right here, or if you'd like to move with me, we're going to be doing some squats. So on an exhale, you're going to move your knee behind the other, get low. So that is an inhale, apologies. On an exhale, press your heel up towards the ceiling. Inhale, get low. I know it's a weird backwards breath. Exhale, keep your head low, lift up. Final time. Inhale, get low, knee crosses behind the other. Exhale, lift up. All right, this time it's for everyone. You're gonna bend your front knee, place your right knee behind it, and you're gonna come all the way down onto your mat. So you're kind of in this crisscross position on your bum. If you're not really sure what happened, it's totally fine. We've all been there. But what you wanna have is your knee bent and your right leg behind you, bent in front of you. If this feels uncomfortable and your left hip is lifted, simply straighten your right leg. Take your right hand behind you. Inhale, the left arm is up. On an exhale, twist at your belly, twist toward the right. You might, oops, I'm sorry, I did it the wrong way. Left hand behind you, apologies. Right arm is up, twist at your belly. Right arm may come to the outside of your thigh, or you take your hand to your thigh and start that twist. Maybe send the gaze beyond your left shoulder. Simply breathe. Take the tension out of your jaw. Then on an exhale, send your gaze back to the front. Unravel, counter twist, lean over to the right, come all the way forward. And then lift your way back up. Find your way to hands and knees, maybe just rolling over. And take a few cow and cat. This can be very organic. You can do some C curves. You might choose to stay in one pose longer than the other. Take your time. And then after your next cat pose, begin your transition to downward facing dog. Once again, let's take a deep breath in together. Exhale, let go. On an inhale, left leg extends up and back. Exhale, place your foot between your hands. Angle right foot down like warrior two. And then as you're ready on an exhale, find your warrior two posture. Once you get to where you're going, 3 breaths. Exalted warrior, left palm flips up, right hand drops, or comes behind your low back. Lean back, make sure you got lots of space. Left knee is over, left middle toe. Once you get to where you're going, 3 breaths. Warrior two, transition to a side angle pose. Reach forward, left forearm to thigh or hand all the way down. You can unravel, fingertips come up, or extended version, arm over your ear. Once you get to where you're going, 3 breaths. Gaze down towards your left foot, let your hands come down, put it onto the ball of your back foot, find that security, and then drop right knee down. Anjaneyasana, either hands to thigh or arms are lifted. Left thumb to left hip crease, arc over to the left. Fill in deeply. On an exhale, continue the cycle. Right elbow to the outside of thigh or hand to thigh, perhaps coming, palms together. Again, left hip is drawing back here, crown of head reaching toward the front of your mat, maybe gaze up. All right, tuck back toes. Lift up back knee. We won't be here for long in this revolved prayer lunge. Look down towards the front foot. Find momentum, step your right foot forward, toes to touch. Revolved chair pose, right knee is pulling back. Don't worry. Inhale, Utkatasana, just for a single breath. Exhale, release, forward fold, ragdoll pose. Do what you need to do. If stillness is a part of your practice today, see if you can find that conservation of energy. Separate your feet slightly so they're hips width distance if you haven't already. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to standing. Keep your arms lifted, cross thumbs, hips to right, or go over to the left. Inhale, come up to center, hips to left, or go over to the right. Crossing thumbs opposite way. Come back to center, hands to heart. And we're going to take our Vrikshasana tree pose. Shift the weight to your right leg, come onto the ball of your left foot. Left knee comes out to the side, so you're facilitating this external rotation. This is also going to help you engage your core. So take the version that you prefer. Maybe it's the same as the other side. Foot comes in as kickstand, up. Maybe even use hand. So find the core strength, shoulders release back, lift up the crown of head. A tiny, tiny bend for your right knee so you can engage more fully, perhaps find more balance. And if you would like, arms lift, or any other arm position you prefer. Keeping your legs as they are, bring your hands back to your heart center. And regardless of which foot position you've taken, left knee comes out to the front, We're going to transition to a warrior three. So a little bend or a deep bend even to your right knee is going to help as you extend your left leg behind you. Neither leg really needs to become straight. If it does, make sure that all your toes are facing down. You can always take hands to block here for supported warrior three. Or if you'd like to take a different variation with your hands that's not hands at heart, you can certainly do that. And then when you're ready, drop your hands. We're going to come to a standing splits pose. Again, feel free to use a block for a little bit of height here. We're going to come out of our own way first. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale, bring your chest closer to your thigh for your standing splits. You can stay right here with me, or if you'd like to move with me, you're going to be taking some squats on a backwards breath. Inhale, bend both knees, left knee becomes right. Get squatty, get low. Exhale, left heel comes up, chest toward thigh. Inhale, get low. Exhale, keep that compression, heel lifts. Final time like that, get low and then inhale. Exhale, lift up. And then all of us at the same time, we're gonna do that weird thing. Everybody bend knees, left knee comes behind right, and then you are going to drop your hips behind your feet. Yeah. And then if that doesn't work for your right hip, extend your left leg out in front of you. This time I'm going to guide the right way. Take your right hand behind you, fingertips away, lean back, give yourself space. Inhale, left arm lifts up. Twist at your belly and your chest, either hand to grasp your shin or left elbow to the outside of your thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. On an exhale, take your head back to center, and then unravel to get counter twists, sweeping all the way around to the other side. Let your head drop, let go. Then press your way back up. Uncross, we're going to take a Baddha Konasana posture. So, start with your knees bent, bring the soles of your feet together, knees wide. If you'd like to make this a little bit more intense, if your body's asking for that and that's accessible, then lift up your hips and then scoot your hips closer to heels, hands to feet. You're going to actively use the muscles of your legs to press down. Inhale, lift up, find a little bit of cobra pose through your chest. Then on an exhale, start to hinge at your hips. Whenever you start to round over, simply back up and then hinge forward once again. On an inhale, lift right back up again. Take your fingertips behind you if you took that closer version. Lift up your hips and then scoot your back. Hands to backs of knees and bring your knees up toward each other. Separate your feet so they've got a little bit of distance behind them. And they're gonna come all the way to your back. Either come down the easiest way you know, or if you want a little bit more core work, arms out in front of you, and then slowly, 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 until you come all the way down onto your back. All right, first let's take a wind relieving pose. So just pull your knees in towards your chest, hands to your shins. If that's not comfortable, hands to the backs of thighs, and then a little rock from side to side. Bridge pose. Release your hands from your legs so your feet come down. Your feet are still hips width distance apart, arms alongside your body. If your fingers can't reach your feet, scoot them in just a little bit closer. Shrug your shoulders underneath you. Press through your feet. On an inhale, lift up your hips. Start with your hips and then wave up your spine. And then if you've got all of this lift, consider rolling over one shoulder, pinky to the mat, thumb up, and then the other, and then maybe even intertwining your fingertips. So here, to find that extension through our hips, that hip extension, you're going to still reach tailbone toward the backs of your knees, press through your feet, and then press through your pinkies, continue to breathe. Can you find length to the tops of your thighs here? And then if you just want to play around, you can consider lifting up your heels as well. What does that change? If you've taken heels up, you might leave them up as we unwind, unravel your fingertips and your shoulders, and then start to roll your spine back onto the mat. Hips come down. If your heels are lifted, allow your heels to drop down last. Separate your feet a little bit wider, maybe as wide as your mat. Drop your knees over to the right. And exhale, come back to center, then drop them over to the left. And then come back to center. We're going to take a Supta Baddha Konasana posture. So this is a reclined bound angle. So from where you are right now, start to tiptoe your feet together until the soles of your feet come together. You might need to walk your foot out a little bit further from you to make this accessible through your hips. So the soles of your feet start to come together and your knees start to come out wide. Something you might want to do here is pressing through your shoulders and the razor edges of your feet. Lift up your hips, slide your tailbone under again, and then release down. This creates a little bit more space in your sacrum area. As far as your hands go, you can bring your arms alongside your body, palms up, perhaps both hands on your belly, one hand on heart, one hand on belly. This is all up to you. I recommend that you let your eye gaze become soft, or maybe even let your eyes close. Allow yourself to surrender into this posture. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs to assist guiding your knees back up, and walk your feet back in line with your hips so they're now separated. Drop both knees over to the right. And then if you'd like, send your gaze over to the left. You can keep your eyes closed or soft. On an exhale, take your knees back up to center. Drop both knees over to the left. And then maybe send gaze over to the right. Take knees and head back to center. The final pose is Shavasana for this class. If you would like to pull knees towards yourself, you may do that. Or perhaps you like to move immediately, keeping the spaciousness across the front of your body. Make all the adjustments that you need so that you can find a place where you can be still. And then we'll begin a systematic process of letting go, starting at the soles of our feet, letting them become soft. Feet just flopping out. Ankles relax. Calves, shins, kneecaps. Thighs drift down toward the mat, heavy pelvis and belly. Soft breath. Relax upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, backs of hands, palms, fingertips. Space through your chest. Relaxed throat. The jaw separated. Tongue releases. Hollow cheeks. Closed and heavy eyes. Smooth forehead. Allow your breath to deepen. Exhale, let go. Start to find some small movements in your extremities and allow those to grow larger. The speed at which this happens is what is working for you. Eventually roll yourself over onto one side. This is traditionally your right, but feel free to go to your left. And give yourself a few moments here in this transitory position. And with your eyes closed as best you can, make your way to a seated posture of your choice for a very brief reflection and meditation. Please bring your palms together, your heart centered onto the mudra. I will be singing the sound of Om one time. I invite you to join me. If you prefer to listen, please listen. First, we'll take a breath in together. And release it. Breathe in to sing. Bow your head to your hands. On an inhale, reach your arms out and up, palms to press above you. And on an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and then return to your heart for clarity of action. Once again, bow your head to your hands, to your heart, a symbol of gratitude and honor. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and helping me deepen my own. Let go or be dragged. In the name of the highest good, namaste.
Thanks, Courtney.